Welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission today, well, it's to dive deep into a stack of sources about a musical group called Mission Souls. If you haven't heard of them, they're a family band from the Philippines, and they have, frankly, exploded in popularity, especially through platforms like YouTube.
And we're doing this deep dive specifically for you, our listener, the learner. You're clearly curious about this whole phenomenon and, why this young family band resonates so deeply. And you shared a really fascinating mix of sources, fan comments, reaction videos, articles, to help us figure it out.
Right, and you had some specific things that really caught your attention, things you wanted to understand better, like their cover of Skunk Anansie's Because of You, observations about the vocalist Stacey's performance being really emotive.
Yeah, and the supportive dynamic you sense between the sisters plus the young drummer, Ice, and his almost intuitive connection to the music.
Exactly. So our goal today is to walk you through these sources, pull out the key insights. We'll see how those specific points you raised connect to what lots of other people are saying online.
And we'll synthesize insights from, all these different commentators, the dedicated music reactors, just casual fans, basically give you a shortcut to getting why Mission Souls has this huge appeal.
Okay, let's get into it. What is it exactly about their music, their performance, their story that's captivating people all over the world?
Well, let's start right where you did with that specific example. Mission Souls cover of Because of You by Skunk Anansie. Because diving into the sources, it's obvious this performance is like a key window into their strengths.
Absolutely. What jumps out immediately is how many sources mention the heaviness of the cover. They really capture that intense alt-rock vibe of the original. And it's fascinating. Some commentators picked up on surprising parallels, little bits reminding them of Muse, or even those syncopated octave riffs like Rage Against the Machine does, especially near the end, that kind of choppy, heavy guitar sound.
Yeah, and what's really striking is how well it works, even for people who don't know the original song. You shared that source, the Worship Drummer Reactor. He didn't know the Skunk Anansie track, but still thought the cover was great and cool.
Yeah.
He even compared it to early Radiohead when they were a little bit more grungy.
Wow, that's quite a comparison.
It is. And it shows the cover really stands on its own musically. It connects beyond just nostalgia for the original.
Okay, and this ties directly back to your observation about the vocalist, Stacey. Her performance on this track, it's just praised everywhere in these sources. That quote you shared, really, really, really impressed by the vocals. Really good, really, really good. That repetition, it's not just filler, it really shows the impact she has. This cover seems to be a major showcase for her.
Definitely. And the musicianship overall gets loads of praise. The young drummer, Ice Isaiah, who's cited as 11 in one source, he often just steals the show in the comments.
Right.
Brian from Guitar Solo Reactions explicitly said, Isaiah is 11 years old, and he is an incredible drummer. And another source, that Worship Drummer, again, he liked the transparency in the video, how you could see them building the layered parts. That says a lot about their confidence, showing their work.
Yeah, it does. Now, the sources point out the song itself is pretty straightforward, no guitar solos.
Right.
But there's this strong feeling that Mission Souls finds this really sophisticated balance. They stay very close to the original, which people respect, but they still manage to do their own thing, inject their own identity somehow.
And that balance clearly hits home emotionally. The Mahalo Reactor called it epic, felt the energy, the vibe, said, it feels like I was in that rock music concert.
Mm-hmm.
But crucially, they felt they own this song. That word authentic came up too, that sense of ownership. It's key for conveying real feeling, right?
Absolutely. Authenticity seems huge here.
And reactors also see these covers as important steps for the band, part of their growth. One called them sponges, just soaking up musical knowledge.
That makes sense. And there's that cross-cultural thing too, right? Covering bands like Skunk Anansie introduces the originals to potentially new audiences.
Totally. It's a cool feedback loop.
So when you put all the reactions to just this one song together, what does it tell us?
Well, it tells us that Because of You cover is kind of a microcosm of their appeal. Based on these sources. You've got Stacey's powerful voice, Ice's incredible drumming, the band handling heavy stuff really well, and that feeling of genuine, authentic connection to the music. It's a perfect snapshot.
Okay, so it really sets the stage for understanding their broader appeal.
Exactly. And it's not just about the songs, is it? It's about the people, the members, their dynamic. Moving beyond just one song, fans consistently point to the individual contributions and, crucially, the strength of the family unit itself. And this lines up perfectly with what you were asking about the learner.
Right, let's zoom in on the members then. Stacey, she's 12, handling lead vocals and rhythm guitar. And her voice gets admiration way beyond that one cover. Sources mention she nails Ian Gillan's vocal on Deep Purple's Highway Star. I mean, if you know classic rock, that's huge praise.
It really is.
Yeah.
And they compare her timbre, her voice quality to her mother, Sheena, even to Jolynn Turner sometimes. So that consistent praise for her power and ability to nail those tough parts, it strongly backs up that emotive quality you sensed. It takes more than just hitting the notes. You need that feeling behind it.
Definitely. Then you've got the sisters, Naisha and Naces. They're the instrumental core, really.
Naisha's 14 on lead guitar, Naces is 16 on bass and keys. And Naisha gets props for her skill, like shredding wildly on the solo in Highway Star. Or get this, playing John Lord's keyboard solo on guitar.
Well, creative.
Right. And Naces on bass gets reactions like, wow, listen to that bass line. Naces did an excellent job. She's also seen as an accomplished keyboard player, and her bass on Muse's Hysteria gets mentioned a lot.
Okay, so what about that supportive dynamic you mentioned between the sisters, the sources? Do they talk about that directly?
Not so much in explicit quotes like, oh, they high-five after every song.
Yeah.
But it's strongly implied, you know. Just look at their skill levels on instruments that fit together so well. To play complex music like that together
It requires teamwork, synergy.
Exactly. And add to that, the band's whole identity and stated mission is family unity. That pops up again and again. So collaborating at this level within that family framework that emphasizes unity, well, it also has to be a supportive environment, right? Viewers probably just feel that watching them play.
That makes sense. It's felt more than stated.
I think so. And then there's Isaiah, the drummer.
Yes, the phenom, 11 years old, sometimes cited as 10.
And he is just universally a fan favorite.
Yeah.
A source of complete awe. The comments are just glowing. Incredible drummer, killed it, on point. He's always active. It just goes on and on.
The age versus skill thing is huge, isn't it?
Totally. Comments like, his maturity in his drumming surpasses most adults. You see that kind of thing a lot. And that comparison you found, that little Bonham is brilliant too. Linking him to John Bonham. That's incredibly telling.
Because Bonham wasn't just power, he was feel, musicality.
Precisely. Which points directly to that intuitive connection you noticed. It's not just technique. It's a deeper understanding of rhythm, of groove. Plus, his energy on stage is apparently infectious.
So it's clearly a family band, emphasis on family. The parents, Second and Sheena, are involved too.
Very much so. Dad Second handles bass sometimes, does the sound engineering, gets credit for good sound quality, and fans describe him as chill, secure.
And people seem to really appreciate the parents' role.
Oh, definitely. Comments like their parents must be so proud, or noting that the parents fostered what they did. People see that supportive background. The sources say Dad taught basics, but the kids are largely self-taught by ear, and the whole family picks songs together.
That guiding, but maybe not overly controlling role seems key to their authenticity.
Absolutely. It creates that environment for the talent and the sibling synergy to just blossom. And the whole family story itself adds this powerful emotional layer for fans. Unity, passion, it resonates.
Okay, so stepping back again, looking at the wider fan community, what are the big themes about their overall appeal beyond the individuals?
Well, the first thing is just this overwhelming positivity and a really profound emotional impact. People talk about getting a musical high, saying the band killed it. Just brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Feeling genuinely uplifted. One comment even said the band brought the joy and hope for music back to me. And you see heartwarming used a lot.
Wow, that amazement at the youth combined with the talent, that's still a constant thread.
Dominant theme. The sheer contrast, it just blows people away.
And their versatility, playing different genres.
Fans love it. They tackle Deep Purple, Skunk Anansie, Paramore, different styles. And covering varied stuff is seen as making them even better musicians, singers. Even when they stick close to the original, people feel they add their own touch or breathe new life into songs.
And the fan base even has a name, Soulmates.
Yeah, which shows, a real community forming. It's not just passive consumption.
That's interesting. And the inspirational aspect.
Huge. That focus on family unity hits home for a lot of people, brings that joy and hope. Their explicit mission of family unity and faith definitely appeals to viewers looking for something positive online.
Yeah.
Contributes directly to those heartwarming and inspirational descriptions.
And they're based in Cebu, Philippines, but the reach is global.
Totally global. Fans commenting from Ukraine, you name it. Obviously, huge pride from Filipino fans, but also this wider admiration. That comment, what is in the water over there, kind of sums it up.
Yeah. And YouTube culture, reaction videos. That's a big part of the engine driving this.
Undeniably. Reactors act as like curators and amplifiers. They validate the talent, introduce the band to new audiences. It creates this viral loop. Mission Souls puts out amazing performances. Reactors react. Their audiences discover the band. The community grows. It's a really effective ecosystem.
So pulling it all together from the sources. Their appeal is, well, it's a lot of things working together.
It really is. You've got the exceptional young talent, that compelling family dynamic that feels real, standout individuals like Stacey and Ice who just grab you, the perceived authenticity, the positive message, and smart use of online platforms. It's a unique, potent mix.
Right. So in conclusion, then, this deep dive into all the fan reactions and articles, it really confirms and builds upon your initial observations, the learner. Those specific things you picked up on Stacey's powerful, emotive voice, that underlying supportive vibe between the sisters Nisha and Naces, and Ice's incredibly intuitive drumming. Yeah, those aren't just your impressions. They are absolutely central pillars of why people love this band, showing up constantly in the commentary.
Exactly. Their story, as pieced together from these sources, it's this amazing blend of, just prodigious talent, the power of family unity made visible, and really effective use of digital platforms to build a worldwide community. Fans aren't just liking the music, they're connecting with the whole story, the positive message, and you can see the joy they have playing together.
Yeah, you really can. Mission Souls feels like a really compelling example of how genuine passion, talent that's clearly nurtured, and a positive message can just cut through all the noise online and resonate deeply.
And build not just an audience, but that vibrant Soulmates community across borders. It's quite something.
It really is. So here's a final thought for you to chew on. Building on that core element of who they are, how does that explicit commitment to family unity as a core part of their public identity, their mission, how does that contribute to their unique feeling of authenticity and their appeal, especially in a media world that often focuses so much on individuals?